Working in a lab has taught me a lot about the research experience. It's given me a overall view of what it is like to work in the lab and what the lab environment is like. It's given me the opportunity to interact with graduate students and to work closely with a faculty mentor. I think working in a lab really greatly enhances your academic experience, especially if you are a biochemistry and molecular biology major. Hi, my name is Bonnie. I am a biochemistry and molecular biology major with an option in biochemistry. I am also an honors student. Right now I am a senior and I am working in Dr. Reese's biochemistry and molecular biology lab.
It's important for students to do undergraduate research because they get to participate in real science. So they get to see behind the scenes of what's in their textbooks. And this also helps them when they take this experience back to class. So they'll recognize something, a technique or an idea that they came across in lab. And when they hear about this again in class, it suddenly becomes much more significant and starts to make sense.
My honors thesis project studies the function of a yeast protein called NOT4. The NOT4 protein is part of a larger protein complex called the CCR4 NOT complex. The CCR4 NOT complex is involved in transcription regulation. NOT4 has a RNA recognition motif. So the question is, does NOT4 bind RNA? And if it does bind RNA, how is this function important for the overall protein complex?
So it's important for the students who do research to present it to other people because this is really an important part of how research is done. So by doing this, they get input from their lab mates about ideas, different opinions. Everyone's brain works a little bit differently, and so bouncing it off people often gives you some more ideas.
Every lab has lab meetings. In the lab I work in, Dr. Reese's lab, we have lab meetings every week. And during lab meetings, every member in the lab takes some time to present their results from that week and what they plan to do in the upcoming weeks. And it's a really good time for you to make sure you're on track and for other members of the lab to offer suggestions and ways to improve your experiments.
So it's important for the undergraduates to work with graduate students and postdocs when they're working in the lab because this gives them another perspective. So they have another set of teachers who are closer to what the undergraduates are experiencing themselves, another set of people to help them, different ideas they're exposed to.
When you work in a research lab, you'll be interacting a lot with the graduate students in particular. Graduate students will help you learn the basic processes and techniques, and they'll also go through new protocols with you. So going into the lab, you don't necessarily have to know exactly, the protocols step by step, because working in a lab will be actually a learning experience and you'll learn a lot of things as you go along. When you are working with graduate students, you can ask them questions about their career decisions and what it is that they enjoy about working in a lab, so you get a feel for maybe what you want to do, what your academic interests are, what your career interests are, and what your personal interests are, and it can help you to focus your decisions and what you might want to do in your future.
I think the undergraduate research programs in BMB at Penn State are unique because the undergraduates are really integrated into the core of the research here. So the undergraduate classes are taught in the same buildings where the research goes on, so they're right there all the time. So it's very easy for them to become involved in research. Their professors in their classes are actively doing research, so they see this every day in class. There also is a huge variety of research for undergraduates to get involved in at Penn State, from cancer research to plant biology to vet science, and it's all right here